Yes, let me turn up the volume here a little bit. Okay, hear myself too.
Red light.
Yes, I see you and I hear you. Yes, I did. It's very cool. Yes. Yes. Do we have a very strong time lag here? Do we have a very long time lag here? Yes, I'm looking forward to being one of the judges. I wish I could be there in person. Hello, everyone! It's so cool that there's still so many people interested in the Lynx after all these years. Look at all these people! Wow! Are you having fun? Yeah! The Lynx development. Yes. I have been fixing my house, remodeling my house, and one of the things that it's making me do is go into all of my old boxes and look in all of the deep corners where I haven't looked for years. And one of the things that I found there deep in my boxes is a bunch of old Lynx stuff. Before it was the Lynx, our code name for the project was Handy. And I have found tons and tons of old original Handy material. The documentation, the technical specification, some of the original models that we built, the early prototypes when we were considering different cases. I've uncovered this entire wealth of cool old Handy stuff that I'm going to share with the community. I've got to figure out what the right thing is to do with it, but I'm going to put it out there for everyone to be able to see. It's really cool. It's a great wealth of stuff. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff that you just look at it and you'd be awed to see it. But there's also this odd piece of equipment. It's a piece of test equipment that was just, you know, one of these testers that had to be, if you made a connection across the two leads, a little light would come on. It's just this little tiny tool that is a tester tool, and if you looked at it, you wouldn't have any idea why it was in there and how important it was to the story of the Lynx, to the actual story of what made the Lynx what it is today. We first showed the Lynx at a trade show long before it was ready, but they were desperate to show it off at a trade show. And we did not have a working Lynx. The best thing that we had was we had the display working. But the Lynx itself at that time, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of it. I have pictures I can show you someday. The Lynx was this device that was a meter and a half by a meter and it was gigantic. And it was all of the cords that were all connected together, that were circuited together. And just huge. It was this huge, gigantic thing. And that's what we had for the Lynx, but they didn't want to show that. They needed to give the impression that the Lynx was almost done. So they had a private showing group, and they took one of the cases, pretty close to the final case, a plastic case that was one of our prototypes, and we put the display inside that case, which looked like a Lynx. You held it in your hand. It had a display there, and we had rigged up the buttons so that the buttons worked a little bit. And that you could hold that Lynx in your hand at this trade show, but coming out of the back of this Lynx that you can hold in your hand was a long ribbon cable. This majestic ribbon cable that went into the wall and disappeared. But you could still, you just had to be delicate with this ribbon cable, but anybody could hold it and press the buttons. And if you wanted to see the next demo that they had to show, that was showing there on the display, you couldn't press one of the buttons to get the next demo. What you had to do is we had this other special button that you press, the red button, and the system would advance to the next demo. And it was this awesome demo that they had at the show. It was the hit of the show. Everyone was talking about this Lynx that Atari was showing in behind the private, not Atari, Epics. It was still Epics at the time, that we were showing in the booth, the private booth. The industry was was in an uproar about it. And all they knew was this dark room with the Lynx on a tabletop and the ribbon cable that disappeared into the wall, but it actually, you know, looked like the real thing. But what no one knew was that where that wave cable into the wall, on the other side of this wall, was this tiny, steamy little room that was just so hot. We were dripping with sweat in there. We had this Lynx, this 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, leaning up against the wall there. And we were operating it real time. We had Mical 2000 was the operating system and the development kit, and everything was right there, hooked up real time to this box. And the entire thing was doing its display that went out this ribbon that connected to the display that was out there. But it was this complete fake that we had done in the back room, where we're in there, and Jude was in there with David as well, and Margot was in there too, and we were all just sweating bullets. It was so hard, it was so hot, it was so hard to do for the whole trade show. But the hardest damn thing of all, we were so stupid. We were so stupid. We had, in order to let them advance to the next demo, they had this push button that all you do is push this red button, and it'd take about 45 seconds or so, and the system would advance to the next demo for you. Well, the push button was actually connected to this little piece of test equipment that I have as a souvenir of those days at doing handy at Epics. It was connected to that little LED light, and when you press the button, that orange light will turn on. but it would turn on only as long as you would press the button once, you know, and we would see well, not red, orange, that orange light, we would see that orange light come on, and that would be our signal that it was time to advance to the next demo. and we had the Amiga there, and we reboot the system and download a different image from the Amiga. It would take 45 seconds, you know, it's this big rigmarole. But on the other side of the wall, the marketing guy, cool as a cucumber, well, it takes 45 seconds to reload, you know, right now, it's early days, don't worry, stuff like that. He chatted up with me, getting the thing to boot up the next demo. But it worked, and we did it for the whole trade show. We must have done it dozens and dozens of times, and it worked great, and it was wonderful, and it was a great illusion, and like I said, it was the top of the show. But the stupid part, the part where we were like complete idiots, is that instead of having a horn, where you could hear like beep or something like that, we had this little tiny orange light, that when the guy pressed the button, the orange light would go beep and be gone. And we had to sit there and stare at that damn thing. To make sure we didn't miss that beep, and one of us ended up with the job of sitting there staring at it, wide-eyed, moving out. Any other questions? I do.
Great.
Looks.
Great. Great.
Very nice.
Great.
Really nice to meet you.
Great.
You have a name I will not
One
forget.
question. Ask him if he's considering releasing all his Lynx stuff to the public.
Is he going to release things to the public?
If he would release all his Lynx stuff to the public.
Will I release it someday, the things I found?
Yeah.
Yes. Over the next year, we just gotta figure out what. I don't know, you know, what is there for a Lynx museum? What's the right thing to do with it? It's all real cherished stuff. And I'm actually more interested right away to find someone local to me that can work with me to sort this out and get it digitized. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, I can get out there now, including, I found a photo album of the old Lynx days. I found a photo album. It was handy computer, but I never actually worked on the thing when it was officially the Lynx. That was all pre-Lynx. Okay. Do we have a microphone or is it just your computer? I remember you indeed. So I know that hardware existed as long as, so this is, again, let me describe it a little bit better. This is the entire Lynx done on a giant piece of circuit board like thing. I don't know if pictures of that have ever surfaced, but if you saw pictures of how we did the Amiga computer, there's boards that have chips on the boards and wiring galore behind. But we had this big plywood, giant sheet of plywood, about a meter by a meter and a half, that was covered with this circuitry, just completely covered with circuitry. And it was a 100% emulation of the system. I don't remember if the board, yeah, I believe the board finally ran at full speed. We had a software emulator that ran on Amiga that ran at about 25% speed, which was pretty cool. But the hardware, I believe, ran at full speed. But, like I started to say, that piece of hardware lived as long as Dave Needle lived. But as you probably know, Dave is gone, and I've now lost track of that hardware. I don't know where it is, if it does still exist, and if someone's got their hands on it. There are some people I could ask who probably would know, most notably Stan Shepard's, Dave's sidekick for him. Yeah, and I've got all kinds of hardware as well. I don't have that. I'll get my hands on it. But I got all this other stuff, like I said, the prototypes and things like that. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I bet people would be interested to see, including a complete set of the original, the hardware diagrams and everything. Very interesting wealth I've uncovered here. We'll get it out somehow. I'll have a list for everyone too. Thank you. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, and I love it.